Man, man. We got an awesome NBA Finals. We have a draft pick coming up in less than 2 weeks.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
But we're still talking about Gelo Ball.
This is where we are. That's the hot topic.
This is where we are in life. This is where we are. But let's take a few steps back. So the NBA Finals. Jamal was pretty wrong on this one. Me and Kaza predicted, like, hey, y'all, the series isn't over. Milwaukee may well win this thing. And they're on the verge of
the series still ain't over, by the way.
No, it's not. It's not, but I'm gonna tell you something. When you shoot 68% from three, Booker gives you 40 points shooting over 50% from the floor, which you shouldn't have taken. She should be taking 33 shots to begin with. I'm just leave that one alone. And you took more free throws than that team, and your bench was outplayed at home. That's not a good recipe for Game 6. I'm just throwing it out there, but what have you guys thought about this series thus far?
This proves that momentum is a real thing. I know a lot of people try and discount, momentum in a series shifting, but that's exactly what happened. We said last week that Milwaukee would win 2 games at home. And they did that because everyone was, after Phoenix went up 2-0, it was like, Phoenix is going to win this. But it's like they did what they were supposed to do. They won their home games. Milwaukee wins their home games, and it's an even series, and that's what they did. Now they go to Phoenix, and I think that the adjustments that the Bucks made in games 3 and 4 was what helped them win Game 5. Also, I think sometimes when you got the best player in the series, just give him the damn ball. Just get him the ball and let him score, and that's
so give Chris Middleton the ball.
Stop! You stop that.
I'm sorry. Look, Batman needs the ball.
I'm gonna shoot free throws. Great play by Giannis. He could have got the rebound after the miss, but he knew he would get fouled, so he tipped it back to his guards, which are better foul shooters. They got fouled, and Chris Middleton was able to ice the game. Phoenix has an uphill battle now, and not just because they're down 2 games or down 1 game, but I don't think Chris Paul is 100%, and I don't know if they can make the adjustment they need to make in order to beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee. This is going to be a tough. Game 6 is always tough, but man, it's going to be tough. I do think if Phoenix wins in Milwaukee, I think they'll win. I think they'll win at home in 7.
This series has taken a weird turn, and to Kaz's point, momentum is a very, very real thing. Now, Kaz, I'm going to give you your props on the points you made last week. You said the key to this series was how mainly Drew Holiday, but just the team in general attacks Chris Paul. Go back to Game 4, and it looks like the Monstars just zapped all of Chris Paul's powers, and he just disappears for whatever reason. Goes 5 for 13, only scores 10 points, and the Bucks coincidentally only win by 6. But again, every game being the pivotal as it may be, it obviously turned out to be a very important thing. I want to publicly apologize to Drew Holiday. I was pretty hard on Drew Holiday last week. Man, oh man, how he's made me eat my crow. And I'll gladly admit I was wrong about Drew Holiday. I want to talk about what he did last night, specifically in the fourth quarter.
Hold on, go ahead.
Drew Holiday actually looked like a point guard in the fourth quarter. Not only did he look like a point guard, he actually played just some great defense on Booker and CP3 in the fourth quarter, man. And to me, that was the difference, because that word momentum, the Bucks had all the momentum. The Suns had all the momentum in the fourth quarter. And I think Drew Holiday changed that game around, man. He had a play where he split a double team, dished it off to Giannis. That was one play. Then he had the big steal against Booker, and then the alley-oop to Giannis, man. I mean, he made his mark in the
fourth quarter. That steal might be series defining. If the Bucks win, that's what people are going to talk. Every series has like that one play that we all talk about. That's going to be it.
The play was that block.
Yeah.
The Giannis block?
Yeah, to me that shift momentum a lot.
I don't disagree with that.
I got to ask this question, and I hate to, but just because it's such a prevalent question among social media, does that play compared to the LeBron block in the finals a few years ago?
No, no. You guys know I'm not a LeBron fan, but I think about the LeBron block. That was Game 7. It was Game 7. Right. Yeah, Game 7.
Yeah,
Game 7, and it helped. And
Cleveland doesn't win that game if LeBron doesn't block that shot.
Yeah, I mean, even though he missed the layup coming down there, and Kyrie had to ice the game.
Golden State would have gone up 5 at that point.
Yeah,
and the Kyrie 3-pointer wouldn't have mattered. They would have had to foul. The stakes were much bigger with LeBron's block.
Oh, yeah. And shout out to J.R. Smith on that because he actually kind of made him hesitate a little bit for LeBron to catch up for that block.
Yeah. So just wanted to get that goofy question out the way, man. But speaking
of LeBron, real quick, watching last night's game and really the last 3 games, Giannis was in his LeBron bag. I feel like he's kind of like, look, I'm the best player on the court. Who's gonna stop? There were times where Giannis, we've talked about this before throughout the playoffs, where the Bucks don't even have an offensive set because the Suns' defense won't allow them to set up. Giannis, right. Who gonna stop me going to the basket? And he's just way into the paint and either gets fouled or scores.
To that point, anytime you hear people talk about guarding Giannis, the main thing you always hear is you got to build a wall around Giannis because you don't want him to get in the lane and blah blah blah. He went through the damn wall, like he just didn't care. Like Giannis doesn't have like the prettiest game, you know what I mean? Right. But he just makes it happen somehow. And these last 2 games, he just said, "Screw it, man! Like I'm getting to the basket. Do whatever you can to stop me, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't." And it hasn't in the last 2 games, man. That dude's been unstoppable.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you guys a question. I was on the app last night and I saw this. If the Suns lose, is it Chris Paul's fault?
No, that's absurd. I don't like that narrative.
Okay, no.
But
you cannot. People can't have it both ways. You cannot have the narrative about how Chris Paul carried this team and
he's the MVP of the league.
Right,
blah blah blah.
Right. Lottery team, a championship contender, and then they lose. You can't have it both ways. I'm not saying that Chris Paul would be the reason that they lost, but at the same time, and Chris Paul actually had some big plays last night. Some big plays. Had a big shot.
He also had some. In reality, he only had one bad game.
Yeah,
like he's 36, 37 years old, still doing it.
To me, is Chris Paul is actually playing well this series. Devin Booker is playing lights out, and they're still not able.
I don't think they have enough. Like I think they're just missing that one piece. Ayton has not been consistent, but I mean, you look at it like this: Milwaukee is the more experienced team as far as playoff experience, and just Milwaukee has a better big 3 at this point to me. And it like, let me tell you, when Middleton, Booker, and Giannis are cooking, that's a mighty hard thing to stop, man. I'm telling you.
Let me tell you something, man. I do not want to question Monty Williams. He obviously knows more basketball than I have forgotten. I don't want to question the man. But however, I do feel like going 8 deep is hurting the Suns at this point. I really do.
Who are you going to play, Frank Kaminsky?
I mean, you could.
Hey. You need to give my man some shine. Hey, just give him a chance.
Man.
Chance. So give like they're gonna give Liangelo a chance. You just give Frank a chance.
You don't start that today. But in all seriousness, man, why is Etuan Moore not playing? Why is Langston Galloway not playing, man? And for whatever reason, it's coming back to bite them, man. Because I think all these minutes are catching up with mainly.
Let me tell you what's coming back to bite them. Dario Saric.
Dario Saric's being hurt. That's big. No, you literally don't have a backup center with Saric being out. I mean that's hurting their depth.
And you have to defend Giannis by committee.
Right.
Ayton is getting ate up.
Look, at the very least, sorry to 6 more fouls. At the very least,
yeah, exactly. Speaking of 6 fouls, why don't the refs like calling fouls on Devin Booker?
Look, he's the star. He's the best player on the Suns.
He's straight up hugging
Middleton. Like, and I'm like, yo, they're like, who's the ball? I'm like, that's a damn foul. Like, it don't matter who the ball was out on.
I don't get it. And in game 4, that was game 4 where they didn't call a foul. He would have fouled out. I don't know what kind of magic he got, but
and look, man, there's been some rumblings and some Kobe Bryant comparisons. He's damn sure getting some Kobe Bryant calls. That part is
those
true.
Comparisons need to stop. And I'm not
he's not a bad player, but Kobe's just different.
I'm not even like a super Kobe Bryant fan, but you could make the case that Kobe Bryant is easily one of the best 10 NBA players of all time. You could probably maybe make the argument that he's top 5 all time. Devin Booker is nowhere near. And if even on a potential, if we're talking just raw potential, Kobe Bryant was an elite defender too. Devin Booker hasn't shown that he can be an elite defender yet. He may develop that skill, but Kobe was different. He was, I don't like that comparison at all.
We have someone in the chat group who made a good point, man. He said the series really shifted when Bobby Portis started getting minutes, which is
it's true. I hate to say it because I hate Bobby Portis because he be killing the Hornets
all the time. He's the Hornet killer,
killing us. But that's true.
Honestly, man, I love Bobby Portis, man. Like, I love the energy. Look, Bobby Portis is like in the offseason, he has overalls and drives a pickup truck with a straw hat. He just gives me that vibe, man. Country man.
No, I was wondering why Portis only got 5 minutes in game 2, and since then, Bud has increased his minutes, and it's shown to be useful, man. And it just goes back to what I'm saying about the Suns with their lack of depth, and the Bucks having the depth, man. I think it's been a big key to this series changing around.
Well, I got smoke for Bud on one thing. Look, I do not want to see Jeff Teague anymore in the series.
But what other choice you got, though, man?
Forbes. Play Forbes. Forbes is the best.
Not at the one. Nah, bro.
Forbes is the better 3-point shooter.
Brent Forbes in the game to do one thing. We all know what that thing is. He's in the game to shoot the ball. Without that, they don't have another distributor, man. So it's
either way, they're stealing minutes.
I think role players who know their roles are the key to championship teams. And in my opinion, it's one of the biggest problems that the Hornets actually have is that we have a lot of role players, but they don't all know what their roles are or they don't stick to them. Guys like Bobby Portis, he knows what his role is. He goes in, he does his job. He ain't trying to do nobody else's job. He does his job, and it's effective. And if you look at championship teams in the past, those games are really won. Yeah, it's the big-time stars that put up the big numbers, but the little things, those games are won and lost by the little things, by what players like Bobby Portis do on both ends of the court.
Yeah. Guys, I got an important question for you guys. Is this the best postseason ever? I've seen this today.
No, so I don't want our brother to think that we throwing shade at him, but Brother Vince, one of the UC founders, made a post that this was the best postseason ever. I mean, the 2016 postseason, I'm sorry, you had 2 3-1 comebacks, one in the Western Conference Finals. You had the best regular season team in history. You had a 3-1 comeback in the NBA Finals in the city of Cleveland, winning their first championship in 5 decades. I cannot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. 2016 was the best finals or the best postseason ever.
Well, I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna say he's saying this because there's new blood in the finals for the first time in 20 years, and also that there will be a new champion. So what do you think, Jamal?
Rodney, this answer may surprise you for coming from me, of all people. I'm still going to say 2016. Now, as much as I love the new blood that's in this playoffs, and believe me, The Lakers not being involved in this finals, I cannot express how much I love that. However, I would be dishonest if I'm going to sit here and tell you guys that I was not glued to the TV during the Golden State Cleveland finals. That was the most intriguing finals in a very long time. And anybody who says otherwise is lying, okay? You had the star power. You had Steph and Clay, and you had LeBron and Kyrie. I mean, let's be real, y'all. That series itself is way more intriguing than this finals. And we can shout out the new blood and say how much of a great series this is, but it doesn't compare to that finals, man. I'm sorry, dude.
One of the things the NBA, one of the major advantages they've had over other leagues, despite the lack of parity, is that the best team in the league almost always wins the championship. Almost always, because in a 7-game series, we lost Rodney.
Yeah, he's coming back.
In a 7-game series, you just always, the best team is just always going to win.
Yeah.
But no one is going to sit here and tell me that the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns were the two best teams in the NBA. I'm not
buying it.
No.
I'm going to say this, Kaiser. I'm going to say this. I'm going to speak to Phoenix first. Now, if we're nitpicking, you know, we can point out some of the injuries in the West. We can point out Jamal Murray being hurt for the Nuggets. Maybe that would have shifted some things. You know what I mean? But you got to give Phoenix their props, man. They beat LeBron and AD, and they would have beat them if AD was healthy. So on one end, I can kind of vouch for the Suns. Now in the Eastern Conference, there's nobody that's going to honestly tell me that if Kyrie and Harden stayed healthy, that the Nets were not going to come out the East. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying it.
Well, I don't even know if Kawhi's healthy, do the Suns get past the Clips? I mean, here's the problem. Maybe they would have, because the Suns are a really good team. But we don't know. We were robbed of that, of knowing what really would have happened if the best players are healthy. So,
right.
You know, it's great that these teams that normally don't get this championship recognition are getting it, but the cost is that they only got it because of injuries. And I know injuries happen every season, but if you look at who was injured, I mean,
look, it's not like the ninth guy on the bench got hurt.
Right. You're talking about the best players in the league, are not playing. I mean, Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard being injured completely changed the Western Conference. And like you said, I mean, if Harden and Kyrie are healthy, just either one of those are healthy, then Brooklyn's probably in the finals. And here's the thing, this isn't sustainable. Anyone think that Phoenix or Milwaukee is going to go back to the finals next season?
No. I'm sorry.
Milwaukee, maybe, because they've been a top Eastern Conference team for a long time. But CP3 is going to be a year older next season, and once he's gone from the Suns, how do you
look? Let's be real. CP3 might not play next season either way. Maybe. I mean, we don't know that for sure. I mean, I think he still has a year on that contract, and that's probably pretty hard to turn down $40 million regardless of how old you are. So we'll see how that goes, man. But I mean, looking at, I don't mean to jump ahead too much, man, but if you look at Brooklyn going into the next season, dude, how are you going to pick against them if they're healthy? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And here's the thing. On paper, the best team doesn't always win on paper.
Right.
But that's why we play the games, and we want to see. Like, if the Brooklyn Nets, a fully healthy Brooklyn Nets team, loses to the Milwaukee Bucks on their own accord, that's fine. And that's actually that would be a great thing. But that doesn't happen. The Nets were beating up on the Bucks, and then two of their best players go down. And unfortunately, I mean, as good as Kevin Durant is, Giannis is pretty good too.
Absolutely.
And the Bucks are able to to win that series. So
yeah, and also, man, kind of going back to my point about like the star power, you know what I mean? And as far as this postseason, again, man, this may be surprising coming from me of all people, man, but Golden State not being prevalent in this playoffs, it hurts. I mean, and I'm speaking as far as like viewership reasons, you know what I mean? Like we can hate on the fact that we're tired of seeing Golden State every year, but we'll watch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like with Clay being down this year and Golden State not being as good as they're used to being, it just didn't create the same drama that other postseasons have without them being in it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I completely agree. You know, the numbers for both the playoffs and the finals are up this season compared to last,
which is a great thing.
Which is a great thing. But last season was the bubble, and the numbers aren't anywhere near what they were back when we say that like that was like a decade ago, but that was just 4 or 5 years ago that LeBron and Steph Curry were battling it out every single NBA finals, and you had 34 million people watching those games.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not going to celebrate the death of the big market teams not being in the finals, although I should, considering, Charlotte, we are a mid-market team. I don't even think Charlotte is a small market team. As we in the Facebook group, it depends on what your definition of small market is, but Charlotte is 18th largest North American television market. How small are they? Milwaukee is 35th. So who's really a small market? I've heard people are like, well, the Spurs are a small market team and they won championships. Really? San Antonio, Texas is a small market? What are you talking about? So, that whole argument, I think, is kind of null and void. It's great to see new blood, but I'd be more excited if this new blood was sustainable.
Yeah.
Like if we thought,
I agree.
Milwaukee's going to be a championship team for years.
But I will say this, though. Maybe it's not sustainable for the near future. However, with that being said, I kind of feel like the new blood of the NBA is here. Like, I feel like the old guard is slowly kind of fading away. LeBron's 36. Chris Paul's 36. Carmelo Anthony's 36, I believe. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, the old guard is slowly kind of dying out, for lack of a better term, and the new blood is coming, man. And I think we're on the horizon of kind of seeing that sustained success from these younger teams.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the fans I will say, I think the fans have grown weary of always seeing the old guard. You got guys like LaMelo Ball. He was popular before he even took the court. Before he was a middle schooler, he had 2 million Instagram followers.
Like Luka Doncic is going to be the face of the NBA in 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Guys like John Morant, exciting young players. That's who people want to see play. And their time will come, and I think that is a good thing for the NBA. I think if we can get smaller market teams that kind of recognition organically by their young superstars, coming up and sustaining success, which Phoenix would be able to do because Devin Booker is that good. But it's a big question about what are you going to do when Chris Paul leaves. So.
Right. But look, man, while we're waiting, because look, I don't want to start talking about this next topic until Rodney gets back on. So with that being said, I want to ask you another question, man. I usually hate predictions, but give me your predictions for Game 6.
I think the Bucks close it out in a close one. We lost everybody. Okay, here he goes. I think the Bucks close it out in a very, very close, possibly controversial game. I think the momentum is on their side. I think Chris Paul's tired. Milwaukee's a tough place to play. It's just I don't think Milwaukee wants to go back to Phoenix.
Right.
I think we're going to see Giannis kind of be like, okay, I'm the
best player on the court.
Exactly. And he's going to do what it takes to win. Having said that, like I said before, I think if Phoenix wins Game 6, they'll win the series. I don't see them losing Game 7 in Arizona.
Right, welcome back.
So that's my prediction. Bucks and 6.
Perfect timing. I got a question.
Hey, real quick, Rodney, before you go, man, I was just asking Kaz about his predictions for Game 6. What you got? What's your prediction?
I say Milwaukee in a close one. They recognize the moment. Those fans are going to be nuts. And I think they realize Booker's coming out to be a killer. CP3 is coming out to be a killer. The moment might be a little bigger for those other guys. And you got to look at this. They're at home. Those bench players are going to play even better than they played in Phoenix. And you don't want to go back to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Trust me,
I don't think they want to.
You don't want to go back. So I say Milwaukee by 10.
I'm actually going to agree with both of you guys. As much as I would like to stick to my Phoenix pick, I can't. I'm sorry, man. I'd be disingenuous if I stuck to my Phoenix pick, just for all the reasons y'all said, man. And I will put a big if on something. If Phoenix can get a better contribution out of Ayton, if Cameron Payne gets more minutes, I believe Phoenix can win. Am I predicting it? No. I'm actually going to go with the Bucks as well.
Gotcha. So, guys,
here we go.
Our favorite restricted free agent, Devontae Graham, post a picture of this light-skinned kid with some braids in his head.
Oh, God, please.
And that caused a firestorm. And,
Jesus help us.
I mean, I got an honest question, man. Like, you see Giannis' brother in Milwaukee.
Who got drafted?
That doesn't matter. Save your narrative. So we got Giannis' brother who's in Milwaukee. We want to make LaMelo happy because ultimately he's going to leave. He wants to be a Laker.
Yeah.
Our crystal ball said so.
And should we go out and sign Gelo to the normal roster and go ahead and chase after Lonzo as well? I mean, at the center, we got the Ball brother. That's a championship. So what do you guys think?
Kaza, please take this one first, son. Brother.
Oh, boy. Okay, a few things. If Liangelo Ball was not LaMelo Ball's brother, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
It's not a discussion.
And that should tell you everything you need to know about whether the Hornets should sign him.
So why you hating on the affirmative action?
Also, my thing is, I don't like the narrative. Well, he just needs a chance. Everybody needs a chance. Let's just, Hornets, just sign everybody. Sign me. We deserve a chance.
I need a chance. I deserve a chance.
Yes, I would like a chance. If you just give me a chance, I can come off the bench and score nothing as well.
Let me ask you a question, man. Like, he was a 30-point per game guy in college. He once scored like 60, 70 points in some of these games, man. Like, scoring translates. And look, he has the size to be a great defender. Like.
So why isn't he?
Because he's not motivated.
My thing with players, and I say this to every player, if he was good, he would be. It's as simple as that. I do understand that players take time to develop sometimes. But are the Hornets the right team to develop him? And someone in the comments said, my only argument for Gelo is Seth Curry, which, if you recall, he did not work out in Golden State. You would think you look at Seth Curry now, who is turned out to be a really good NBA player. Why didn't Golden State develop? Maybe playing with his brother wasn't such a great idea. I think, and plus, there's always sibling rivalry, whether you got brothers or sisters. And this is LaMelo Ball's team. You bring his brother in, his older brother at that. You really think older brother really wants to be taking shit, excuse the term, from his younger brother? This is LaMelo. Next season, trust me, you're going to see like 4 General LaMelo telling him what to do.
He ramped up.
Yeah. And you know what? The Hornets players are ready for that. They're perfectly fine with that. Is Gelo going to be fine with that? Because you ask him, he probably thinks that he's a better player than LaMelo Ball. He just deserves a chance. Also, and this is one of my biggest things, is that LeVar Ball has been relatively quiet this whole season. He has been. So to his credit on that, for the most part, he has let his sons just flourish in the NBA and play ball. But if you recall, when Detroit signed Gelo, he was all about it. And then the second they let him go, he was talking bad about Detroit as an organization. I don't want him to do that same thing with the Charlotte Hornets.
When we cut him, when
we
cut him,
he comes here, he does. We sign him to the G League
Chris,
10-day contract. He doesn't work out. Suddenly, LeVar Ball's talking about how the Hornets are a trash franchise, and we know that of all three of the sons, I think LaMelo probably looks up to his dad the most. He talks about LeVar Ball a lot. He holds his father in much higher regard than Lonzo or Gelo do, and I do think that LeVar talking bad about the Hornets franchise because they didn't sign Gelo would influence LaMelo on the decision 6 years from now when his contract is up. So
I have a question. I wonder why this fan base, the same fan base that rakes Michael Jordan over the damn coals about his quote unquote draft picks for the last 20 years. I'm exaggerating. The same fan base that tells us how trash Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo is every damn week. The same fan base that wants to replace half the damn roster every season. Why are we so passionate about adding a guy to Summer League? Why are we so passionate about it? Why is it important to you?
And let me tell you something. I don't think he's played a meaningful game in like
he hasn't. You know why he didn't, Rodney? Because he didn't get drafted to a team. And on top of wait a minute. On top of not getting drafted by an NBA team, you know what happened after that, Rodney? What? He didn't get drafted in the G League. So again, my question is, what the hell makes us so passionate about wanting to sign a guy who has not even got drafted by a G League team to the Hornets Summer League? Why do you want to give him a chance so bad?
And then you got people like Ian Miller, Ray John Tucker,
who really deserve a shot. Is that what you're about to say?
It's Sendarius Thornwell, Kennedy Meeks, out here from the city, from the actual city,
from Charlotte, right?
They actually probably want a shot, but you're advocating for somebody who could probably care less about Charlotte to begin with, and is only getting a shot because of who his brother is. I understand a fair is a thing that pigs are judged at, but you got to call it for what it is. If he was that talented, why not be on the overseas roster? Right. Make your bones over there, and then come back. Like work.
Yeah. Take the same path your brother did. What it is, I think everyone is Charlotte fans, and this is the legitimate fear. They are so afraid of LaMelo Ball leaving when his contract's up because
we've been so scorned before with other
because it just happens over. We think about Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning. But what the fans fail to see is that there have been players that wanted to stay here in the city, treated those same fans treated those players like crap. And I think if you just continue to show your support for the team and the Hornets do the right thing in putting the right pieces around.
Hello, Kaza. Let me cut you off right there. You want to know what will keep LaMelo happy? Winning will keep LaMelo happy, guys. Not wasting a damn roster spot on somebody who can't play. That same roster spot could go to somebody who can actually contribute to this team. That roster spot could go to a center that y'all are clamoring for every 30 seconds. Chris, love you, Chris, but you know what you do. Every 30 seconds, y'all want to be a center. But let's go waste the roster spot on Liangelo Ball. It doesn't make any sense.
Guys. Liangelo will be better than the Martin brothers.
Stop it. No, stop it. No, he won't. He will not.
Okay, all right. Objectively,
no.
Liangelo Ball is a good scorer. And he would probably develop into a solid NBA scorer. But if you look at what he brings as a whole package, the Hornets don't need that right now. We don't need any more guys that we need to develop into anything, okay? The development path is over. We've got our young core. We need to continue to develop them and then put pieces around them to make the team better rather than like I said, people are just afraid of losing LaMelo, and they really think that having his brother here is gonna, alter his position here. But that's not true, because if the Hornets suck with Liangelo, guess what? LaMelo's certainly leaving then.
And this is my thing. I understand you guys want him on the Summer League roster, but it's going to snowball into something else. When he does, if he does not cut in practice and does not get the playing time that people think he deserves, it's going to be complained. Oh, he needs to play more. He's going to have his first 10, 15, 20-point game in the Summer League. He needs to be elevated to the roster. You got to realize what this is going to snowball into.
Rodney, you kind of like James Borrego needs to be fired because LaMelo didn't play 35 minutes a damn game. Kind of like that, right?
No, actually, you know what would be worse? If Liangelo goes to the Summer League or the G League and does well. Because then everyone's going to be like, oh, did you guys see how good he looked in the G League? Even though we all know that, the G League is the G League for a reason. And, Dwayne Bacon was averaging 35 points a game in the G League. Okay,
right.
Remind everybody of that. So, I know that some people love the fanfare, and a lot of people are saying, well, signing Liangelo brings this, this attention to the Hornets that we sorely need. I don't know if we need it that sorely. The Hornets need to win to get that attention.
Let me speak to that point. This franchise, again, we struggle for being relevant, and quite frankly, the national media narrative doesn't look at us as having a lot of legitimacy. How much legitimacy do we have if we bring Liangelo Ball here just because his last name is Ball? Does that would that not push the narrative that the franchise is just some amateur hour franchise that just wants to bring Liangelo Ball to possibly sell tickets? How much legitimacy does that bring? Yeah, it may give us some more attention, but at what cost? You know what I mean?
Now,
I'm not with it, man.
Having said that, if he's a good fit for the roster, then by all means, he should get a spot based on that, not because he's LaMelo Ball's brother, which is the only reason that we're even having this conversation. That's kind of my beef.
But guys, I look at Milwaukee. Giannis is on the roster. Look, it doesn't matter that he actually played in the G League before and was drafted by the New York Knicks. Look, the only reason why he's on the Milwaukee is because of his brother, man. Look, it doesn't matter that he's a 6'9" athletic freak. It doesn't matter. It's because of Giannis.
So the Nationals actually got drafted by the Knicks. Let's start there. Liangelo did not. Like you said, if the Nationals actually has a skill set that you can use, that Milwaukee can use, Liangelo does not. The Milwaukee Bucks have a good enough roster to where they can give up a roster spot and be okay, because obviously the rest of their roster is a championship contending roster. The Hornets do not. We need all of our roster spots. And again, I'm going back to, people just saying, hey, man, just give them a shot in the G League. I get it. But, if you give him a shot in the Summer League, G League, you obviously want him to be good enough to make this roster. Let's be real about that, okay? The Hornets are not in a position to say, hey, man, our roster spots are valuable. We need all 15 of these active players at least need to be prospects for being, I guess, in the rotation, so to speak. We're not in that position.
The last thing I had to say about this is, why didn't Detroit want it? Detroit's one of the worst teams in the league. You can't make that roster?
Hello.
I don't know why Detroit decided not to sign him. There was an interview with one of the Detroit players where he was like, "Oh, Gelo was a bucket. He could score." There had to be some reason why one of the literal worst teams in the league didn't want Gelo Ball.
Not only that, but the 29 other teams in the NBA didn't even pick up the phone to call him. I'm sorry, man. What was that about?
It could be. Some people say that there is a stigma attached to him because of what happened in China, and then being pulled out of UCLA. That may be, but that counts.
It
absolutely does. Regardless of what people think it should or shouldn't, that counts. But I don't think that's it, because we've seen the NBA excuse. I mean, Malik Monk did hard drugs, and the Hornets.
No. Allegedly. Don't do that.
Allegedly.
We know.
No, we don't know. Allegedly.
But he's about to get a $7 million qualifying offer from the Charlotte Hornets because he can play ball. That's what I'm saying. That stigma doesn't mean anything if you can.
Actually play. Right. Hey,
right,
my parting shot. Quick parting shot. Go ahead and put Liangelo on the summer league roster. And when we lose to China again, I don't want to hear everybody freaking out and shit. I don't want to hear it. That's the last thing I'll say about Liangelo Ball.
All right, guys. Stakes on Taylor Moton. We're all going to
Stake 48.
No, we're going to ADVs.
ADVs
is some steak and some lobster, man. Old buddy signed a 4-year, $72 million extension.
Broke
the hell off. Like, dog, I'm telling you, man. Was this guy worth that deal? I want to put it in the context. He's the second. It places him in the same like range of Lane Johnson of the Eagles. So, in your eyes, is he one of the best tackles in the game?
Absolutely, I think he is. I think you at least put him top 7. I'll put it like that. And not only that, but he is damn sure valuable to the Carolina Panthers, regardless of where you rank him amongst other tackles in the league. As far as how valuable he is to the Panthers, he is of dire importance and relevance and all that to the Panthers, man. This was the most necessary move the Panthers have made all season, man. Look at our offensive line struggles minus Taylor Moton the last 2 or 3 seasons. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Look at the market for tackles in the free agency market. There's just not a lot out there. You don't sign Taylor Moton. What's your plan after that? You know what I mean? Are you going? You can't. I mean, look, we're all happy with our draft, but you can't just mortgage your whole future on this draft class just yet. You don't know what you're going to get from these guys just yet. So with that being said, man, he was worth every single penny that the Panthers paid him. He was the most consistent. He was probably the most consistent offensive player with the Panthers. I know that might be a strong statement. I know, Roddy. I see your face. But with that being said, man, I think Taylor Moton showed up every week, man.
Taylor Moton played 100% of the snaps all last season. You know how many penalties he had? 1. He had 1. He had 1 penalty. That is consistency. And it was a false start penalty. And it was declined. So 0. But yeah, I mean, so we know the offensive line has been kind of the bane of the Panthers' existence for the last 10 years, even when Cam Newton was here. Cam Newton had a really good offensive line 1 year, and he won the MVP. And although you guys know I've been harsh on Bridgewater, during his whole time here, but there were some offensive line issues last season, except for Taylor Moton. He was like,
he's that guy, man.
Offensive line. So you keep your best. You're like, okay, this guy is clearly the best player on the offensive line. We're going to keep him and build around him. You put a nice left tackle on the other side, and I think you got pretty good protection for Sam Darnold. Although I'm not convinced on Sam Darnold either, but that's another conversation. But although that will be an interesting conversation if Sam Darnold with a better offensive line outperforms Teddy Bridgewater, that's gonna make for some interesting.
Nah, that can't happen, man. That can't happen. Panthers don't make the best decisions.
But yeah, I think, and it shows, Tepper's all in. He's gonna whatever check he got to sign. Jerry Jones is famous for saying there's no check too big that I wouldn't sign, for the Cowboys to win the championship. I think David Tepper feels the same way. So congrats to Taylor Moton.
Another thing that I really love about Taylor Moton and also the contract, man, like he kind of fits where the Panthers are in this stage. And what I mean by that, he's still young enough to develop. Like he's still young enough to get better. And I think the Panthers have a roster that are full of players like that. You know what I mean? And he fits that mold. So to give him the money now, it shows that you trust him to get better. You trust him that he will even develop to even a better player than what he is now. And I just think it's a perfect fit, man. And not to be repetitive, but again, it was such a necessary move for the Panthers, man. So great fit. I think, the contract is good for him, when you compare it to the market that other players got, man. So I think they hit a home run with this one, man. I do.
Fun fact. Dave Gettleman drafted him.
Look, man. Gettleman has some gems in there. We give him a hard time, but he has some gems in there.
We love this Hog Molly. See, if it was a big guy, then Gettleman pretty much scored on that pick. But I think the Panthers also bringing in a salary cap specialist may have helped this.
That helps.
The Panthers actually saved cap space by signing him now because his first year in the deal would be less than what he would have made at the end of his old deal. And re-signing Robbie Anderson is a priority. You can't let Robbie Anderson go in a free agent. I think Robbie Anderson wants to stay here, so you got to make sure you got enough money to keep him. So if you are able to keep your best offensive lineman, one of the better ones in the league, and you have enough money to sign a 1,000+ yard wide receiver, so far so good on the new staff, the new GM staff for the Carolina Panthers.
Look, we got to keep Robbie here to root for his Carolina Bears, man.
And one other very important thing to kind of mention with this signing, man, it was of dire importance to get this done by the franchise deadline, man. I just think it would have been a bad thing if you would have franchise tagged Moton, because if you do that, he could possibly ask for an even bigger deal next season. Right. So it was better to lock him in at what you did than to go into next season and have to possibly negotiate an even higher contract, man. So kudos for the Panthers getting this done at the very last minute, but they got it done.
Guys. So we're gonna roll to shoutouts, man. The show's coming to a close. Chris is making bad comments like always, and so we need to get into our shoutouts. So, Kaz, you got any shout outs?
This week, RIP. I hate doing these RIPs during shout outs. Yeah. RIP to Biz Markie, man. Another, another rapper, gone. Yes, Robbie, by the way. And, growing up as a 80s, 90s kid, Biz Markie, they called him the clown prince of hip hop, and he brought something to hip hop that nobody else could. Like hip hop was fun with Biz Markie, and the thing was he was a talented guy. He wasn't a gimmick, even though his style of music may have seemed gimmicky, but he wasn't. He was a really talented guy, and he brought something to hip hop that no one else has really been able to replicate since then. So I hate to see another one of us gone, really so young, added to the list of rappers who died in nonviolent means in their relative youth. Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah, no, that's, one of my shout outs is the same, RP Biz Markie, man. But to expound on that, Biz Markie, DMX, and all the other ones that I can't think of right now.
Sean B,
MF Doom, Sean B, all of them. All of these brothers are passing away in their late 40s, early 50s. And if that is not a sign for us black men to get our shit together and get our health together, I don't know what is. These are people, we're 80s, 90s babies, man, and we've looked up to all these dudes. We bumped their music. We're a part of hip hop culture, all that stuff. And to see these dudes that we look at as legends and as icons and as, people we looked up to passing away, it's kind of a wake up call for all of us, man. So it's a wake up call for all of us to do better. More about Biz Markie, man. I will say this, and this is what a lot of people I think don't really know or appreciate about Biz Markie. He was a savant when it came to DJing. That dude, when I tell you DJs, like all the DJs that you know and love, they looked up to Biz Markie. Questlove holds Biz Markie in a very high regard when it comes to DJing. And I'm fortunate enough to have witnessed Biz Markie DJ here in Charlotte a few years ago. I think 2017, if I'm remembering correctly, man. And it's one thing to know that he was a good DJ, but another thing to witness it live was something else, man. I mean, this dude is a savant.
Go
ahead, sir.
At CIAA 2012.
Well, CIAA was still good.
You're right.
Prime CIAA, and everyone was talking about what we're gonna do. Biz is throwing. I was hanging out with some people who will remain nameless, but they were industry people, and they were like, "Yo, Biz is doing a show at the Omni." That was what everyone was talking about. Oh, we're gonna see Biz Markie, and at the time, I actually didn't know that he was a DJ like that, and just put on this incredible show. So,
and I want to add this too, man. Like, a lot of times we know these older hip hop artists don't get what they're supposed to get financially.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad that he was able to make a way for himself.
Yeah,
like what I heard, actually being a great DJ. Like, yeah, that to me is awesome, and I believe his family is a little better off than the normal hip hop legends that passed away.
Right. And to mention more about that, Rodney, like Biz Markie, he's not like a dude that had like all these, like a bunch of multi-platinum albums or anything like that. He didn't have a bunch of hit singles, but he was a dude that always had some type of work. He always was working within the industry, whether it be, making beats or DJing on the radio or being a DJ. He's always made a decent living somehow.
He's in the Black too.
Yeah, man. And again, man, just like seeing his set, man, in Charlotte a few years ago was just amazing. It was hands down one of the best sets I've ever seen, man. So, once again, man, I just rest in peace to a hip hop legend, man. Just going too soon. I do also want to shout out my creative friends in Charlotte who do not get enough props, man. Shout out to Jesiatic for throwing a great event called Sukasa, which was at Victoria Yards downtown. Y'all should check it out.
Yo, look, let's just take a minute and just laugh.
Let's hold on.
3.
Hey, that's a YouTube comment, by the way, so that'll tell you all you need.
Yeah, that'll tell you everything you need to know.
Oh, Liangelo is better than all the roster, huh? Okay, cool.
He's better than Terry Rozier.
He's better than Liangelo Ball.
Nobody in the league wants him. Nobody in the league wants him.
This hating.
They're afraid of him. He's too good, y'all.
All 30 franchises are hating. I'm telling you. All right, so Jamal, my shout out, man. Are you done with yours?
One other real quick shout out, man. I want to shout out someone who actually may be a guest with us pretty soon. That's just making an announcement. Her name is Bree Stalling. She is the art director for the Van Gogh experience. I think we're going to try to have her on the show. If you have not checked it out, please do it. Even if you're not into art, just go check it out, man. It is a hell of an experience, man. So we actually may have her on the show pretty soon, man.
Bet. I got a shot at, man. I got a shot at the Charlotte housing market, and I'm gonna talk about this. So we've been in our house for like 8 years now. It's time to transition. We just went out there. We went out to just look, and I'm like, well, I hear about these bidding wars going on. So let me look at new construction. Y'all, new constructions have waiting list. Like, there are names on the waiting list. She's like, oh, you'll be 5th on this list. So if you want a new construction, maybe December, January. I'm like, yo, like it's so crazy that they have a cap on how many houses they can sell on new construction a month. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Well, the price of materials has shot up during the pandemic. I think the market will stabilize. I wish Vince was here because I'm sure he could give us a really good answer on that. But I mean, right now the best thing to do is stay where you're at. I've looked at new house too. And I'm like, shoot. I think I'll be good where I am for a little bit.
Yeah, at least a little bit longer. And then the second shout out, man. Look, man, COVID ain't over. The rates are spiking again. This Delta variant
87% increase nationwide.
Thank you.
Okay.
This Delta variant is more dangerous than the original one. And for you people that are unvaccinated or whatever, I know some people can't get vaccinated for certain reasons. Some have trepidation. You can still get it if you're vaccinated, but guess what? The severes won't. The symptoms of the actual COVID won't be severe. Like, people are starting to die again. Like, we need to take this thing a little more seriously. Like, it's not playtime.
Man, to kind of talk to that point, Rodney. I was out last night at Sukasa and talking to people. We all said the same thing. Like, man, being outside is great. Seeing people you haven't seen in a long time, it's awesome. But it also still feels very weird. You don't know who's vaccinated. You don't know who's not vaccinated. Like you said, this Delta variant is rearing its ugly head, man. So continue to proceed with caution, people, because it's not over. It's not over because we're tired of it. You know what I mean?
Hey, Jason Clear, hit the inbox and we can explain a little more to you.
I'm glad that LeVar Ball loves our show so much that he made a burner account. So shout out to you, LeVar. We actually love you a lot, and I hope nothing but the best for your son. Thanks for being a fan.
And with that said, thank you, LeVar, for watching. Thank you for the ball nights. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you for our loyal listeners. We appreciate y'all. And you guys have a wonderful Sunday. Get some rest. Work tomorrow for most of us.
Hey, LeVar, go ahead and click, share, and subscribe for us, man. We appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, like, subscribe, share. So, love
Peace
you.
out.
You guys take care.
Peace out, y'all.